Welcome back to Joe Stein of Boxing. Claressa Shields gave an interview on one of those, I think it was Seconds Out. I may have the wrong, Boxing Social, one of those, one of those channels. And of course, she's got the Savannah Marshall fight coming up, rescheduled on Saturday. And, she was talking about how wonderful she was and all that sort of stuff that she always goes into. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other. Okay, Claressa Shields, we know that's her shtick. Okay, that's her thing. But one of the things she said that I thought was quite amusing was the fact that Peter Fury, during the final press conference for the aborted fight from a month ago, said that he thought Claressa and Savannah Marshall, his fighter, were at the top. They were the good ones, and all the other women were a load of shit. They're shit. That's how he describes it. Use that word. And Claressa said, well, actually, Peter, you only had one professional fight and you lost, so actually you're shit. Now, I like Peter Fury, don't get me wrong. I think he knows a lot about boxing. I like watching him interviewed. I think he's a very intelligent man and he's got a lot of wisdom, certainly about boxing. And I like watching him interviewed, but I don't agree with his assessment of female fighters as being all a load of shit. Is the talent pool as deep as the women's, as the men's? No, obviously not. This is still a sport in its infancy, if you like, but the women's discipline anyway. So let's look at a few of the fighters that he was calling shit. Then, well, if you look at Claressa Shields, she fought Christina Hammer, who at the time was 24-0 and had been a long-term women's champion. Of course, you have to take into account the people that she'd beaten, which were at best sort of not bad. I mean, between the lower level girls, again, it's down to the lack of depth of talent in the whole of women's boxing, not just in this particular division. And Christina Hammer was middleweight champ and lost her belts to Claressa, who became undisputed, I think, if memory serves. That's one of the occasions when she was undisputed. And then you've got, Hannah Rankin, who is a former world champ, but won her belt against a very old Swedish girl. I can't remember the name of the girl offhand, but made one defence, almost a tragic defence, actually, because the girl she fought, the Mexican girl, was injured and had to have brain surgery. But, Hannah's okay, don't get me wrong. Hannah's a tough game girl, but again, probably benefited from the fact that there aren't that many great women fighters around. But nevertheless, she's okay. She fought Claressa in 2018, lost on points, as did Christina Hammer. She also lost on points. Hannah Gabriels, who I think I'm right in saying either was or is the women's heavyweight champion of the world, the WBC women's heavyweight champion. But Hannah Gabriels was at middleweight. She fought for two of the belts. I can't remember which ones, IBF and possibly the WBA. But she lost on points, but she did floor Claressa. And I think Gabriels is a pretty decent fighter. I wouldn't call her shit. Tori Nelson, another one. I wouldn't call her shit either. I think she's been a pretty good female fighter. She lost on points to Claressa as well. So Claressa, before I move off Claressa, don't forget Franchon Dezurn, is that her name? Who is now the undisputed super middleweight champion. She actually fought in her debut against Claressa in Claressa's debut. So these were two girls who, I think I'm right in saying Dezurn had it is Dezurn, isn't it? Franchon Dezurn. I always forget her name muddled up, but she, if memory serves, had a pretty decent amateur career. Claressa, of course, was a two-time Olympic champ. But they fought each other in their debut. That's good. That's what I want to see. I don't mind. It just doesn't bother me if people pick up losses. I don't care. That big so-called O. By the way, O is a letter. It's not a fucking number. I always say 0. It's not. O is a number. But that O that they all talk about has to be protected. Not in my eyes. I don't care about that. And yeah, that's her only defeat was to Claressa. They actually gave Claressa every round, which I thought was a bit unfair. I wouldn't have minded a draw in that fight when I watched that fight. Didn't know what the result when I watched it, and I thought it was touch and go. But, Clarissa's quality of Clarissa's opposition has been very good. Even though, again, I emphasise the depth of talent, the pool, the depth of talent in the gene pool is not that great. Okay, and if you look at Savannah Marshall, well, certainly Savannah, and by the way, I picked and am still picking Savannah to beat Claressa, but you can't compare her record to Clarissa's because Savannah has beaten Hannah Rankin by stoppage, and Femke Hermans, I think, went the distance with Claressa. Well, she definitely went the distance with Claressa. She got done in 2 rounds. Was it three rounds in Savannah's last fight? And, you know, I think it was, is it Maria Lindbergh? I think that was the woman that Hannah Rankin won her title off. She fought, yeah, that's right, it was. She fought Savannah and got stopped in 3 rounds, but she was, you know, way past it and a very late substitute. I mean, look, the argument is that Savannah is knocking out women that Claressa went the distance with, and that is true, of course. But again, I get back to the point of this video, which is: are these women shit? Was Peter Fury being? I think he was being too nasty. Not nasty, but too. I just don't agree with the accuracy of what he was saying. I think it's unfair. He's been too unfair. They're not crap. As Claressa said in the video, she said, look, there are levels. It doesn't mean they're shit. I'm at the top and there are different levels. I mean, I wouldn't call, in the men's game, I wouldn't call a guy who's area level shit. I mean, it's not a great thing to say. Not only is it not generous, I don't think it's accurate. Some journeyman, you know, there's an art to going all those rounds, to doing 100 fights, even if you only win 5 of them, and lasting that long. I don't think they're shit fighters. I think there's just, again, as Claressa said, there's levels and there's ability, and you can all fight at a certain level. But what are we saying here? That anyone who isn't world class at the very top of world class is shit? I mean, is that what we're saying? Because if we are saying that, I don't agree at all. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I thought it was a really good interview. Will I do another prediction video? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to say flat out, I think that Savannah will beat Claressa this coming weekend. I've done a video. If you want to go and have a look at it, it's on my channel. I did predict a 6-round knockout for Savannah, and I'm going to stick with that. The hell with it. It's only 10 rounds, of course, because it's a women's boxing instead of 12 threes. If it was 12 threes, I'd say with great confidence that Savannah will knock out Claressa. I'm saying it with far less confidence, but I think the power and not just the power, but the boxing ability, the timing of the speed, the jab, body work, just the dimensions, the size of Savannah, I think it's going to be too much for Claressa. I think Claressa will definitely have her moments, will land her punches, but ultimately I see Savannah being too big, too powerful, and too good. I really think Savannah is potentially the best female fighter in the world, but also certainly the best in that middleweight division. And of course, it's for all the belts. So I respect Claressa Shields' achievements, what she's done for women's boxing. I think Savannah Marshall will win this fight. But I definitely agree with Claressa that we should show more respect to a lot of these female fighters who are not at the absolute zenith of the sport, but nevertheless do give a lot back to the sport. That's what I think anyway. Anyway, leave your comments below. Subscribe if you're new. That'd be great. Like the video if you liked it. And yeah, thanks for listening as always. Take care of yourselves. We'll speak again soon. Bye-bye for now.